Beep, 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 beep. Hold up. Hey, it's 60 Gang Show on TV, and I say good morning to those who woke up today. It's March 13th, and I don't play. Welcome to the next episode. Hey, 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 hey. How that sound, y'all? What's up, 60 Gang? It's your boy Doug, and you know what I'm doing. Grinding. I'm on my way to Oxford, Georgia. John somebody. Got a good ride to 64 miles. John Manhood has a ice maker issue. We don't know a brand. Cinema ETA. ETA. I just heard on the internet that famous R&B singer Johnny Taylor died of AIDS. He was a player. And back then, that's when AIDS began. I had no idea, man. Okay, guys.
Be closed with staples at the only labeling required on the burn bags are the words secret and USAID, BIG, and dark Sharpie if possible. If you need additional burn bags or Sharpie markers, please let me know or the SEC info team know as soon as possible. Because we got to get rid of all this stuff before Trump's people see it. As if they haven't. It was on a server somewhere, right? So you had to push print. So it was logged somewhere, right? Oh my God. And they actually sent out an email to that effect. Oh my God. Breaking. General Michael Flynn calls for Attorney General Pam Bondi to issue arrest after an email showed instructions to USAID employees to shred documents. Tickety tock, Pam. Tickety mother blupping tock. You got rogue people in this department deciding what they're going to do is shred everything so you have no evidence. So hopefully you had someone in the technological department who got all this information before they had their shredding party. Someone need to find out who Shreddy Betty is and tell her, stop this. Why was nobody in this office just... No, you can't do it. We all can see it on social media, and I haven't seen anybody arrested for shredding stuff. This is your chance. This is the redemption. You know, the whole Epstein thing. Here's something maybe, I don't know, maybe if you did this, people might say, oh, she's okay.
But she's not doing anything wrong.
Man, they're shredding documents.
And she's letting them
That's how bad it is. It's incredible what they're going through at this point. And Trump is just destroying them. screaming on social media ain't helping the Democrats. Everywhere they turn, it's like bam, bam, bam. Obviously, Trump had a long time to think about what he was going to do. A long time. And now they're out there having to do nothing but shred documents. It's if you didn't see it yourself, you would actually say, man, this is just really, really sad. This is where these people were running our government. These are the people that, we entrusted the government to, and this is how they acted. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely crazy. So let me start with the actual show at this point, because now I've got some things I want to get into, because that's not even the good stuff. It may turn out to be some good stuff later on, but I got some really, really stuff you want to sink your teeth into. So get some of this.
On this vote, the yeas are 217, the nays are 213. The bill is passed without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Over the past few weeks, it has been a high priority of mine to identify and bring to light countless issues regarding a Biden EPA gold bar scheme. 20 billion of your tax dollars.
So this is Lee Zeldin, who uncovered the $20 billion fraud, of which $2 billion is going or went to Stacey Abrams to put refrigerators in a town that had 200 people in it. So tonight he came out and said, nah, we terminated everything. Give me back my money.
Were parked at an outside financial institution in a deliberate effort to limit government oversight, doling out your money through just 8 pass-through, politically connected, unqualified, and in some cases brand new NGOs. The money has since been frozen, and the Department of Justice and FBI have been investigating. You may have heard how a group linked to Stacey Abrams received $2 billion after reporting a mere $100 in total revenue the year before. Or how the founding director of the EPA's program dished out $5 billion to his former employer after shaping the legislation that created the program from his White House post. These two examples have only been the tip of the iceberg. I'm here to report back to the American people that as of today, I have officially terminated these grant agreements entirely. Not only does EPA have full authority to take this action, but frankly, we were left with no other option. This termination is based on substantial concerns regarding program integrity, objections to the award process, programmatic fraud, waste, and abuse, and misalignment with the agency's priorities, which collectively undermine the fundamental goals and statutory objectives of the awards.
Now, one of the things as he's saying this, and he's admitting fraud, we caught him. Someone needs to walk down the 7th floor. Hey, Pam, got something else for you. Cash, Paige and Cash Patel, come to the EPA office. We just found $20 billion. It's stacking up. It's starting to really starting to stack up. This is starting to get deep. People are shredding documents. Somebody put in the chat here, what's the penalty for shredding documents? I don't even know. I'm not in law enforcement. Someone's going to have to tell me how you're allowed to shred federal U.S. documents. If I remember, a bunch of FBI agents went to Mar-a-Lago because President Trump had secret documents, they said. Just had them. He didn't send out a memo to Melania and Barron and said, get the shredder ready, honey. Nope, he just had possession. And they took him, they didn't take him away in cuffs, but you know what happened. So you're telling me low-level people can sit here and go, start feeding the shredder. Just get, it's stuck. Get the burn bags. And what's their penalty? Is CNN going to, camp out, have the cameras ready for the raids? Pam, I've stood by you. I told everybody you're good. You got the goods. Cash, we all stood by you. You can't keep this going. And now Lee's telling you, hey, I found $20 billion over here they were stealing. Come on.
The only way we can reduce waste, increase oversight, and meet the intent of the law as it was written is by terminating these grants. It is my unwavering commitment to President Trump, Congress, and to you. The EPA will once again be an exceptional steward of your tax dollars. I will have it no other way.
Oh, you can't say he didn't warn you.
Linda? Okay, so now, as I said, the news keeps happening. President Trump gave the order, and he said, shut it down. Well, he doesn't sound like like the chef, but he said shut it down nonetheless. The Department of Education, it's about to be ripped to shreds. Oh boy, 50%?
I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. Education Department.
All right, and a move that seems to portend the beginning of the end for the department that Republicans going back to Reagan pledged to abolish. The Department of Education today told staffers to vacate their offices by 6 p.m. because the offices were closing nationwide. The doors are now locked. Workers aren't going to be allowed back into the buildings until at least Thursday. When they do return, it'll be a more cozier group. Nearly.
Because even people in my chat are very, they're just going to open again on Thursday. I thought to myself, wait for it. Don't fall for that. You actually saw people in the chat earlier. They're just opening it up against Thursday. You're being a drama queen. And I'm like, so wait a minute. So you think that President Trump had them, put out a memo? Don't get out the building by 6 o'clock. And you can come back on Thursday. You thought that was it? Did you really think Trump was done? Well, like Laura said, it's got to be a little bit more cozy.
Half of the 4,100 workers are being cut in what the department is calling a reduction in force. President Trump addressed staff cuts in general today.
We want to cut people that aren't doing the job. We want to keep the right people.
Absolutely.
And I said, I don't want to just say we're going to cut 50%. I want to cut the people that aren't doing the job.
Joining me now, Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon. Madam Secretary, great to have you in studio.
Before she starts, just to recap, so you heard, you can come back if you got the second memo. What second memo? Well, if you didn't get it, don't worry about it. Don't come back yet. The second memo went out to these people. You're in this group. If you're in this group, don't come. You're done. Half of the people, done. Just that fast. Which means they'll be running to the lawyers tomorrow and going to some small district court in Guam or something to try and overturn it. In the meantime, the rest of us are like, yeah.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
It's amazing at this point, you guys, when you see these kind of memos and it's like, hey, everybody get out, we're locking up the building. And you can come back on Thursday. You have to understand who you're dealing with here. Is lean in. Come on, what's the punchline, boss? Oh, only those who got that second email can come back. If you didn't get the second email, your door's over here. And he, like Laura said, he told everybody it's coming. We all heard it. We were waiting for the executive order. Oh, it's coming. Well, today it dropped.
Today. All right. First, welcome to the show, because you haven't been on in studio with me before. Now, is this the first step on the road to a total shutdown?
Yes. Actually, it is, because that was the president's mandate, his directive to me. clearly is to shut down the Department of Education, which we know we'll have to work with Congress, to get that accomplished. But what we did today was to take the first step of eliminating what I think is bureaucratic bloat. And that's not to say that a lot of the folks, it's a humanitarian thing too. A lot of the folks that are there, they're out of a job. But we wanted to make sure that we kept all of the right people, the good people, to make sure that the outward-facing programs, the grants, the appropriations that come from Congress, all of that are being met. And none of that's going to fall through the cracks.
So that was my next question. So the criteria for keeping that 50% is related to expenditures and key programs?
Correct. Like Congress appropriates the money that is going through Title I to IDEA programs.
What's that stand for?
Do you know what? I'm not sure I can tell you exactly what it stands for, except that it's the Programs for Disabled and Needs.
Individuals with Disabilities Act, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know all my acronyms. I've been here for 30 years.
This is my 5th day on the job, and I'm really trying to learn them very quickly.
Right, it's a lot. So reports today said that the buildings were going to be closed for security reasons. What does that mean?
Well, when people left today and they got their notification to take their laptops and their phones home with them, and we didn't want part of the people who were being permanently let go and those who are remaining to some of them show up to work tomorrow morning.
That's standard corporate
practice.
practice.
So it's just standard corporate practice that we just locked the doors and said for those that are coming back will know that they'll be coming back on Thursday morning.
Were people given a chance?
Note to self, if they tell you, leave the building, but you can come back on Thursday. It's sort of like going to HR and you've been sitting at your desk all day and said, hey, they want to talk to you downstairs in HR. Okay. Oh, you mean they cross me all day? It's Friday afternoon, and we're like, hey, how you doing, Barry? Hey, how you doing, Susie? And Friday at about 4:45, you call me down and say, hey, we need you to come down to HR. We got a little meeting we got to have. At 4:45, yeah, come on down. We're gonna have talk. We gotta talk. Here's a hint for you in the corporate world: ain't nobody scheduling meetings at 4:45 on a Friday. It ain't happening. So before you head down to the meeting, get your stuff, put it in a box, because you don't know it, but there's probably a couple people outside waiting for you to walk out the office, and they're gonna just go in there and get all your stuff anyway. So these people just thought they were getting the day off. Hell, there's a security problem? Oh my gosh, the security. What security? What security problem is there? I didn't hear anything going off. Okay, I guess we get to leave early. I'll tell you what, that tells you the intelligence level of government employees. None of them saw it coming. They should steak. Hey, yeah, everybody leave. It's a security issue. Don't worry about it. You can come back on Thursday. But then again, I saw a bunch of people in the chat earlier falling for that. I was like, good luck.
Take any personal effects?
They were told that they would be allowed to come back. We would arrange for them to come back and take their personal effects with them and to say goodbye to some folks, too.
Randy Weingarten, you're shocked. I know you two are catching dinner in about 20 minutes, but she actually commented about what's going on here. Watch.
Think about a country whose president basically says, I'm getting rid of education. What does that say about the future?
So just so you know, this is the lady who's the president of the teachers union, and she makes about a good $500,000 a year. And immediately she gets to get on MSNBC last weekend, and she knew something was coming. She just didn't know what day it was coming. And it's like, hey, he's going to do away with education. No, he's not doing away with education. Nobody wants to do away with education. Why do you people lie so much? He's not saying, hey, Johnny, you can never go to school again. It's over. No, you're lying. He's cutting the Department of Education, not the schools, moron.
Many people are so mad about it because they're just taking opportunity away from kids that don't have it. So billionaires, kids of billionaires, they have it.
Let's stay on the facts.
Sorry.
No,
I'm
do not
really angry
apologize.
about this.
No, because this
I'm
is what
really
people
angry.
need to...
Well, clearly we're not taking the lead.
How are these people getting caught flat-footed? She had to have known. She's been hearing about it. She was on MSNBC Saturday, so they talked about it. It's coming. He's going to lay waste to the Department of Education. He said it on the campaign trail. And now you're crying? Quit crying. It's too late. It's too late. I know why she's crying, because she makes $500,000 a year. And she's been grifting off the teachers union. And now there's nobody to save her in the Department of Education. And that long money laundering trail is about to come to a screeching halt. Let's go ahead and donate to the Democrats. Let's collect money from our members, whether they like it or not. And then we'll take that money and we'll give it back to the Democrats. And they'll budget a whole bunch of money for us for them to do the whole thing over and over again. Now, we'll take that off your hands. Nope, can't do it anymore.
Education, the president never said that. He's taken the bureaucracy out of education so that more money flows to the states. Better education is closest to the kids, with parents, with local superintendents, with local school boards. I think we'll see our scores go up with our students when we can educate them with parental input as well.
Well, she's very angry. And over the weekend, I posted on X that it would be nice if Randy were ever angry about the abysmal 8th grade and 4th grade reading and math proficiency. You see those numbers, like 18%, 22% of proficiency or above?
See, Laura's missing the point. She's not in the business of helping kids. That's why they're all freaking out. You think the Department of Education is for the kids, the poor kids, of course. It's always the poor kids. And the billionaires, they get to send their kids to like good schools, but the poor kids, they're stuck here. But you're not teaching them. They can't read. They definitely can't add. What have you been doing? I feel so bad sometimes when I'm watching television on a Saturday afternoon, because I love college football. And I see this kid who's on scholarship at some big university, and they stick a microphone in his face and say, "So what were you thinking after you scored that last touchdown?" Well, Abby was thinking about, how I was, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh. If that was me, my mom would have probably run out the stands and slapped me upside the head. Are you serious? They're going to put that microphone in front of you and you're going to let the world know I score touchdowns, but I can't add up how many points there are on the scoreboard. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Teachers Union. You've put these kids through, and then God forbid they get hurt. God forbid they don't make it to the NFL. Only a few people make it to the NFL. You got an entire nation of kids who their only way out, it seems, is making it to the NBA or the NFL or something of that nature. And then if they don't make it, where are they? They're 18 or 19 and they have to go learn how to use the Fry-O-Lator. Thank you, Randy. That's what you've done to the kids in this nation. That's what you've done. These kids are left with dreams of playing in the big time, and when they can't play in the big time, there's nothing else they can do. Nobody else is going to pay you to score touchdowns. They're expecting you to give some value to a company, and you don't provide any value, and you've been told your entire life you're fantastic, you're great, you're awesome, and then you find out nobody cares anymore. And then what happens? Yeah, you're flipping burgers. You're back in the hood. And you're doing stuff that they do in the hood. Randy ain't coming to see you. See, I'd love for Randy to have said, we've done so many kids so bad. They've gone through the entirety of the system. They can't read. They can't add. And so when they don't make it to the big show, Randy should say, you know what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you some money and help you do something vocational, teach you how to weld, something. Nope. She goes to the country club and doesn't care. Doesn't care.
In fourth and decade, we rank near the bottom globally on these standards. Well, it's shocking, given how much, and we're putting up a graphic, given how much we spend. I can't even, it's terrible.
Well, I'll tell you, it's unbelievable. And when you think about high school seniors that are graduating, only 30% of them are reading proficiently. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't read words, but they can't read cognitively. And that's what we're missing. You know, you read to learn up until third grade, and then after that, you're learning to read up until the end of third grade, then you're reading to learn. And if you can't read after the end of third grade, you're going to be behind in your reading. And so that's what we have to focus on.
Well, I say to my own kids, if you don't read, I'm not talking about this, by the way. I'm not talking about phones. I'm like, if you don't read real books, you probably can't write.
True.
You must read to write.
You
like I've been preaching this gospel. I'm not saying my kids are all that great at it, but it's just terrible. I want to ask you on a personal level. You're a businesswoman, and you've known President Trump for a long time. This is a new world for you, this education.
Let me explain this in case you don't know, because this is, as she's going into this part, when she's talking about being a businesswoman, this is a part where you need to know a little background. If you don't know who Linda McMahon is, she is Vince McMahon's wife. And if you don't know who Vince McMahon is, Vince McMahon has run the WWE. At one point it was the WWF. He runs that empire. She's his wife. She was involved in the management of this gazillion-dollar business that people still somehow watch. And so she knows business in and out. They've made billions with the WWE
department. How shocked were you, if at all, about how swampy it really is?
Well, this is my 5th day on the job. And so, I did serve in the first administration of SBA. But so when I got to the Department of Education, the president said, look, I need an executive, I need a leader in the department. And so when I got there and I found out, I said, okay, we have to identify where the bloat is, where the bureaucracy is, and we're going to start there. Because the programs, so many of the programs are really excellent. We need to make sure that money does get to the states. But we want more money to be able to go to the states. And that's what the president said all along. If we get rid of the bureaucracy, the states will get more. It'll go directly into the states.
Block grants to states.
Perhaps block grants without so many strings and red tape attached to it.
What's your interaction been with Elon Musk during your very brief tenure so far?
Well, it's been excellent. And I did co-chair the transition committee. Going into the administration, had a chance to work with him there. Have met with him twice, and we have Doge, a couple of the Doge, 3, I think, Doge fellows that are in our department, and I look at it as an audit. If you were in the private sector, this would be an audit. And turns up a lot of things in the audit. Some of you look at it and say, no, we can get rid of that. No, this is the implication that you don't understand, so we can't get rid of that. So I think...
So they have read-only access to the files? To your grant files and so forth?
Well,
budget files?
Yeah, they're not changing any of the budgets to that sort. They're there to go, to find out information, to make suggestions. But, the secretaries and the agency heads are actually the ones who run the departments and make the final decisions.
Well, it's great to have you in studio. You're going to get a lot of protests outside of my old department, where my first job in Washington was at the Department of Education. I was only 22, but I had no idea what any of those people did. I just wrote speeches. I was like, I don't know what these... But it's great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You take...
Okay, so she mentioned meeting with Elon Musk. And one of the things you saw today, if you saw this afternoon show, is that Donald Trump bought a new Tesla, and Elon said not only is he going to continue producing Teslas, he's doubling the production. And with everything that's been happening, how everyone's been attacking Elon Musk and burning dealerships, shooting at dealerships, burning Cybertrucks, President Trump took it to a different level tonight. Look at this. Trump labels Tesla attacks as domestic terrorism. 1 hour ago, President Trump has declared that any acts of violence against Tesla dealerships will be classified as domestic terrorism. This statement coincides with recent reports of arson, vandalism, and other attacks on Tesla properties, including incidents involving Molotov cocktails and graffiti. Trump's announcement came as he publicly considered purchasing a Tesla, signaling support for the company amidst these violent events. So, what does that actually mean? Go ahead and burn one up tonight and see what happens. You see, now that destroying a Tesla is an act of terrorism, you no longer get to play nice and then go home. At that point now, you are committing a federal crime. Things going to be different for the the knuckleheads out there. They may not know the classification difference. I don't know if anyone's telling them. I mean, like Cat Turd. I love Cat Turd's name. At this point, the people setting fires are domestic terrorists and should be treated as such by the FBI and DOJ. So here's what's going to happen. The local police can't help you anymore. They catch you doing that, you're going to get the federal government coming after you. That is a huge, huge move. Absolutely monstrous. Now you're a terrorist. Think about that. Think about what being labeled a classified terrorist is and how you're going to put that on your shoulders. Good luck with all that. Yeah. Ooh, big trouble. Big trouble in Little China. Really, go ahead, make my day. You better call whoever's telling you to do this stuff before you do it this time, because this isn't like Barney Fife going to put you in jail for a day and then let you out and then dismiss the case. You see, very few of these people ever get prosecuted. They may get charged, they may get put in a pokey for the night, and then they go on to basically wreak havoc another day. Not now. Not now. Where was that? That was so good. FAFO, can you hear the cell doors closing? Yeah, you're a terrorist. You are a terrorist. Let that just sink in a little bit. Trump is such a boss. Yeah, exactly. Act blue. Be careful because, okay, Carla, you're onto something here. Carla, you're onto something. Carla says, act blue, better be careful. Setting fires and destroying property because of their politics. Now understand this. If little Johnny is a complete blue-haired nut and he does it, well, he's just a single terrorist. He's not part of a cell. Now, let's imagine that little Johnny gets out there and he wants to, burn up a couple Teslas, but he's getting funded by somebody. And somebody's sending him the money so that he can buy the Molotov cocktail, so he can, get to wherever he's going to. He can go to an ATM and pull some money out of the bank. Do you think how many crimes did I just say? Well, you can start off with conspiracy because there's a plan. You can add into that bank fraud because now you're helping use money to, be a terrorist. And those crimes will stack very quickly. Because on top of that, you're going to have, was anybody hurt? Was there damage to a certain dollar? Oh, man, you're done. You're heading over to the Chateau d'If, which if you don't read, because Randy Garden didn't teach you, you have no idea what I just said. So you're like, oh, you're done. You're absolutely done.
About when we're talking about the cuts that Doge is bringing about. How are they feeling about
Yeah, this to me was one of the more shocking figures that I saw. Made me go, wait a minute, hold on.
Why do these people continue to be shocked? How many people do you know and that you come across on a daily basis like, you know what? I'm pretty happy they're stealing my money. I can't wait till April 15th to give them more money to steal. Oh, by the way, the people at USAID are shredding documents and putting them in burn bags because they don't want you to know how much of your money they've been stealing. But the guy in CNN here is like, oh man, I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
1 second. Whoa! Americans on Trump and Doge's efforts. Musk and Doge should influence government spending and operations. Look at this. 54%. The majority say that he and they should. How about approve of Trump trying to cut staff at government agencies? Again, you get a majority here. 51%. So yeah, Elon Musk might not be that popular, but these cuts and the idea of spending cuts, at least within the federal government and cutting at government agencies, that actually has majority support. I was truly surprised by this, Kate, but the numbers are the numbers.
Well, there is a.
If you're surprised by these numbers, do yourself a favor. This weekend, leave New York or Washington. Try to find someplace where you can talk to people who don't live around the Beltway. You know, people who are out there working for a living, who have to do so much just so they can pay their bills on April 15th. And then just ask them. Go into a barber shop. Hey, man, are you okay with the government stealing all this money and sending it to Ukraine and everywhere else? Hell no. But you're surprised. Okay.
View that cuts across Democrat and Republican of people thinking that Washington is too big, bloated federal government, waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, those are drain the swamp is what people run on over and over again. How do they feel? What do they think they're actually cutting?
Yeah, what do they think they're actually cutting? Democrats want to argue that the type of spending that Musk is cutting is mainly necessary programs, but that comes in at just 36%. The wasteful spending actually wins the plurality here.
Okay, so I don't know who his source is, but I'm thinking the blue-haired nose rings, people who like to play in other people's sports, who just want to have, you know, craziness. 36% still today, you're telling me, think that they're getting necessary programs cut. So, again, we have more Randy Weingarten students who have no idea what the hell they're talking about, who are being gaslit by the media.
42% according to a recent Washington Post Ipsos poll. And I think that is the reason why you see that when it comes to Musk and Doge, you see, in fact, the majority believe he should have some influence because they believe, the plurality believe, that he is cutting wasteful spending, not necessary programs that Democrats are.
Yeah. And then just lastly, Van, in terms of Democrats and where they go from here, this last week we did see them some people try to protest during the president's address and then House leadership getting onto them, other Democrats calling them out. They still seem to be wandering around trying to figure this out. What's your take?
Can we ask another question? Do I be talking about my own party? Can we talk about Ukraine or something? No. Look, man, we're screwed. I mean, we don't know.
You may have seen this making its rounds, and I just felt I needed to clip it today because it's so true. You are so screwed. The CR passes. I dare you to have some Democrats try to fight it in the Senate. You're destroying the Department of Education. Trump's naming Tesla-type terrorists out there. What you guys got? You got nothing.
Democrats don't know what to do. This is a nightmare. Somebody like Donald Trump, we thought we'd at least have Hakeem Jeffries in the speaker's chair to hold him back if we didn't have Kamala in there to do the right thing. Well, listen, the Democratic Party is going through a massive set of internal crises. You have a party that got trapped two ways. One, defending a broken status quo that nobody likes because they thought that Donald Trump was going to make it worse. But when you're defending a status quo, you're going to lose. And then offending most people in the country, calling everybody sexist and racist and transphobic and every other name, and then saying, please follow us. That's not a good strategy, folks. Defending a broken status quo and offending most of the country turns out is not as popular as my party thought it was going to be. And so it's going to take a while for people to get it figured out. I don't like talking about this. I'd rather be beat up. Can you give me something I can beat up Shermichael about? I don't want to talk about my own party.
I know. It's a tough question.
How bad is it when CNN is now openly laughing at the Democrat Party? Just throwing their hands up in the air going, we got nothing. We absolutely have nothing. And there's nothing for them to look forward to. What are they going to do? I mean, you listen to some of the stuff these people say. There's nothing on the horizon. There is literally, all you can do is hope for doom and gloom for America. You want America to lose. You don't want Ukraine stopping the war. You don't want the border cleaned up. You want the worst for America. You want a recession. You don't think people notice you rooting against them? There's nothing that the Democrats do except talk about the poor peoples. There's nothing that they talk about improving your life. Nothing. And so now it's a joke. It's a joke of epic proportions. And if Donald Trump can get Pam Bondi and Kash Patel to seriously get off their asses and do something, I don't know if these people can ever win again, or at least not for any time soon. I'm about to do this interview with Kyle Seraphin, former FBI agent, federal whistleblower, and he's going to be talking about what Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and how they blew some things, and what Dan Bongino might have to look forward to right after this quick message.